Hey guys, it's Miss Johnson here. I thought this would be the easiest way for us to do notes today, although I know it's a little different than usual, so bear with me. I was really kind of struggling on how we were going to do this online, but I hope this works out for you guys. So we're going to be talking about point of view, and point of view is very important in writing, and that's because point of view is how authors tell a story, right? So through the point of view they are telling the story determines on how the readers are going to interpret it, right? If a story is from the point of view of a mother, I might interpret a fight between a mother and daughter differently than if the point of view had been from the daughter, right? So the first thing we're going to do is talk about the 4 different kinds of point of view, and then we're going to be reading a story and a picture book, and we're going to go into why point of view is important and just exactly what it does for the reader, as well as just the plot itself. So we're going to start with the very first kind of point of view. This is called first person. And I'm just going to say first, and I'm going to put POV. POV is kind of what we put to mean point of view, POV. So first person is written like an I, okay? So I or me, right? Or sometimes we, because we would include me and someone else, right? Me is still first person point of view. So this is first person point of view. It's when the person in the story, I'm going to say person in the story, well, where can I write it, y'all? I'm going to say person in the story tells the story. Right? And I'm going to do my next one a little bit neater than that so you guys can follow along with it. So after first person point of view, I'm going to give us just like a line here. We have second point of view, okay? Second person point of view is a little bit different than first person. Instead of the person being in the story, and this is where it gets complicated. Second person point of view is where the reader is in the story, right? So the reader is in the story. We see, this looks like you, right? Or your, and that's being used. So instead of saying, I went to the park, the author is now writing, you went to the park. This makes you, the reader, kind of like the person in the story, right? But not really. Second person point of view is kind of complicated and you're not going to be seeing it a lot. That's okay. The most often time you would see it, I would probably say it would be in more nonfiction or informational argumentative, things like that. So it'll be important when we get to that section. Right, and then I'm going to erase this so that I can write our next two. Right, so then we have third person point of view, and we're going to start, this one is just third person point of view. Do like a little divider. Right, so if first person is I'm in the story, second person is you are in the story, what do you think third person is? Well, it's they are in the story, right? So it's when the, okay, so we're going to say when the narrator, so the person telling the story, is not in it. Okay? What I mean by that is you would see things like they, she, he, etc., and onwards, okay? So the narrator is not in the story. If I'm first person point of view and I did the things, that means me, the narrator, am in the story. If I'm using you, I'm saying the narrator's not in the story, I'm saying you're in the story. And if I'm using they, she, or he, the narrator is simply telling the story about other people. That's it. So third person point of view is the narrator's not in it. But then we have a different kind of third person. We call this third person omniscient. And I believe I spelled that right. Omniscient point of view. When we think of someone being omniscient, we think of them being all-knowing. That's what the word means. Think of like God, okay? God is omniscient, right? Because God knows everything about everybody. So this is the narrator. And I'm going to say is in everyone's head, but not part of the story. And that's important. Okay, guys? And this is important because that's what's differentiating this from this, okay? This is, the narrator is not in the story, okay? They're just using they, she, they're telling someone else's story. In this one, they know everybody's thoughts, but they're still not in the story. So this one again would look like they, would be all the same, okay? They, she, he, okay? The biggest difference between these though, and I'm gonna get a different color to kind of highlight these, is that this word, okay? Everyone. In third person point of view, not omniscient, just regular, you can only tell the thoughts of one person at a time, okay? One she at a time, one he at a time. The narrator is only telling one person's story. When we come to omniscient point of view though, the narrator is now telling everyone's story. This means there are multiple she's, multiple he's. So they're not just telling one person's story, they're telling the story of any number of people. It could be 2 people only, that would still be omniscient, but it could also be 30 people, which would be omniscient. Do you kind of see the difference in those two? So remember, omniscient involves everyone in the story, whereas just the regular old third person only involves one single person. All right, be sure to watch the next video where I'm going to be reading a picture book to you. We're going to be talking more in depth about why point of view is as important as it is. I'll see you guys soon.